Introduction to underrated pickups. There are 5 pickup trucks sitting on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace right now, priced under $10,000 that will outlast trucks costing 3 times as much. And nobody is talking about them. These are not project trucks. These are not good for the money compromises. I am talking about pickups with drivetrains that will hit 300,000 miles on nothing but oil changes, brake pads, and the occasional spark plug. They are selling for pennies on the dollar because the average buyer does not know they exist. After more than 2 decades of turning wrenches, I have watched people overpay for Tacomas and F-150s while these trucks just sit there waiting for someone smart enough to notice. And truck number one at the end of this list, that is the one mechanics are quietly buying for themselves. I have personally recommended it to over a dozen people, and not one of them has come back with a major complaint. Not one. Today I am counting down my 5 most underrated bulletproof used pickups you can buy right now for under $10,000. I am going deepest on number 1 because it is going to change how you shop for a truck. Let's get into it. Top 1, the 2001 to 2011 Ford Ranger. Starting our list at number 5 is the truck that Ford killed and everybody forgot about. And right now you can pick one up for $4,000 to $8,000 all day long. Let me tell you what happened last spring. A kid in his early 20s, fresh out of college, came to me looking for his first truck. He had $7,500 and was dead set on a Tacoma. He pulled up a 2004 Tacoma with 198,000 miles, rust on the frame, and a seller asking $9,200. I said, let me show you something. I pulled up a 2008 Ford Ranger XLT with a 4.0 LV6 four-wheel drive, 112,000 miles for $6,800. He looked at me like I suggested he buy a bicycle. 3 weeks later, he texted me a picture of that Ranger in his driveway. 8 months later, he has spent zero on repairs. Not a dime. Oil changes and gas. Here is what nobody tells you about the last generation Ford Ranger. Ford built this truck from 1998 to 2012 on the same basic platform. And by the time they were done, every single weak point had been engineered out. The 4.0 L Cologne V6 in these trucks is a cast iron block, single overhead cam design that Ford developed with their European engineers. It is not fancy. It is not powerful by modern standards. It makes about 207 horsepower, but it is absurdly reliable. No timing belt to replace. It uses a timing chain. No turbocharger to fail. No variable valve timing to cause headaches. It just runs. RepairPal gives the Ford Ranger a 4 out of 5 reliability rating and reports the average annual repair cost is about $650. That is reasonable for any vehicle, let alone a truck you can buy for under $7,000. Owners regularly report crossing 200,000 miles with nothing but routine maintenance. There are people on the Ranger forums running these things past 300,000 miles on original engines and transmissions. If you are shopping for one, here is my inspection checklist. First, check the frame for rust. This is the #1 killer of old Rangers, especially in salt states. Get under it with a flashlight and tap the frame rails with a screwdriver. If it flakes or punches through, walk away, no matter how clean the truck looks on top. Second, if it has the automatic transmission, check for harsh shifting. The 5R555E automatic can develop shift issues past 150,000 miles. A fluid change and filter can sometimes fix it, but hard slams from first to second mean internal wear. Third, the 4.0 V6 can develop a timing chain rattle on cold starts in higher mileage examples. A light rattle that goes away after a few seconds is livable. A sustained grinding noise means the chain guides are worn, and you are looking at an $800 to $1,200 repair. Make sure you listen on a cold engine, not after the seller has warmed it up for you. Who should buy this truck? Anyone who wants a simple, no-nonsense compact truck that is cheap to buy, cheap to insure, cheap to fix, and small enough to park anywhere. Parts are everywhere. Every mechanic in America knows how to work on a Ranger. If you do not need to tow more than 5,000 pounds and you want the lowest possible cost of entry into truck ownership, this is your vehicle. Top 2. The 2005 to 2019 Nissan Frontier. Moving to number 4, we have a truck that Nissan basically forgot to update for 15 years, and that is exactly why it is so reliable. The second-generation Frontier ran with almost zero mechanical changes. While every other manufacturer chased turbochargers, dual-clutch transmissions, and complicated emission systems, Nissan mostly left the Frontier alone. In doing so, they accidentally created one of the most bulletproof mid-sized trucks ever made. I had a customer about a year ago, a contractor in his mid-50s who was burning through lease trucks every 3 years. He was spending $500 a month on a payment for a Colorado that he was terrified to scratch. I asked him what he actually needed. He said he needed something that can haul materials, tow a small trailer, and not cost a fortune if he dents a fender. I found him a 2016 Frontier SV Crew Cab with the VQ40DE V6 four-wheel drive, 78,000 miles for $14,500. That was slightly over his $10,000 budget. But here's the thing. You can find 2012 to 2015 Frontiers with the same VQ40DE V6 and under 120,000 miles for $8,000 to $10,000 all day long. He bought the 2016. That was 14 months ago. He has put 22,000 hard miles on it. Total repairs, one oxygen sensor, $80. The engine that makes this truck special is the VQ40DE in a 4.0L naturally aspirated V6, making 261 horsepower. This engine is part of Nissan's legendary VQ family, the same engine platform that has won Ward's 10 Best Engines award multiple times. It is naturally aspirated, no turbo. It uses a timing chain, not a belt. It is paired with a 5-speed automatic transmission that has been in production for years and is proven reliable. RepairPal gives the Frontier a solid 4 out of 5 reliability rating, and annual maintenance costs average around $470, which is below the mid-size truck segment average. Consumer Reports gave the 2013 and 2014 model years a perfect 5 out of 5 reliability score. The 2019 Frontier scored 87 out of 100 on J.D. Power quality and reliability. That is not good for the price. That is just good, period. Now, there is one thing you absolutely need to know. On 2005 to 2010, models with automatic transmissions, there was a radiator design flaw where the internal transmission fluid cooler could leak and mix coolant with transmission fluid. This failure is nicknamed SMOD, Strawberry Milkshake of Death, and yes, it will kill the transmission. Here is the fix. If you are looking at a 2005 to 2010 Frontier, ask if the radiator has been replaced. If it has not, replace it yourself for about $150 with an aftermarket unit, or bypass the internal cooler and run an external transmission cooler. That is a $50 to $100 fix that eliminates the problem permanently. On 2011 and newer models, Nissan addressed the issue, so you are in the clear. Inspection checklist. First, check the transmission dipstick for any sign of pink or milky fluid, especially on pre-2011 trucks. If you see it, walk away immediately. Second, listen for a timing chain rattle at startup. The upper timing chain guides on some 2005 to 2010 models use poorly stamped links from Borg-Warner that could wear through the plastic tensioner pads. This was improved in later production years. Third, check the rear differential. Nissan's rear axle vent design can allow moisture intrusion. Have the differential fluid inspected. If it looks like chocolate milk, the seals need attention. Bottom line on the Frontier, you are getting a truck that was so overbuilt, Nissan did not even bother to redesign it for a decade and a half. When the frame rusts out before the engine quits, you know, the drivetrain was over-engineered. For under $10,000, there is not a more durable mid-size truck on the market. Top 3, the 1999 to 2006 Chevrolet Silverado. 1500 next at number 3 is the truck that built America's suburbs, towed every boat in the marina, and is still doing it at 250,000 miles. You can buy one right now for $5,000 to $9,000. This is the GMT 800 generation Chevy Silverado, and it has one of the most bulletproof drivetrains General Motors has ever produced. The engine you want is the 5.3L Vortec V8, known internally as LM7 or L59. This engine is part of General Motors' Generation 3 small block family, which is derived from the same LS architecture that powers the Corvette. It is a pushrod V8 with an iron block and aluminum heads, making around 285 to 295 horsepower, depending on the year. Here's the critical detail. The trucks built before 2007 do not have active fuel management. the cylinder deactivation system. Active fuel management is the single biggest reliability complaint on newer 5.3L trucks, causing lifter failures, oil consumption, and expensive repairs. The pre-2007 trucks give you all 8 cylinders all the time with none of those headaches. These engines regularly go 300,000 miles with proper maintenance. I have personally worked on 5.3 Vortec trucks with well over 250,000 miles that were still running strong on original engines and transmissions. There is a reason you still see these trucks everywhere. They simply refuse to die. A buddy of mine, another mechanic, bought a 2003 Silverado LS with the 5.3 two-wheel drive. Regular cab 8FT bed for $4,500 with 178,000 miles. He uses it as his shop truck. He has put 40,000 miles on it in 2 years. He has replaced the water pump, a set of spark plugs, and a fuel pump. That is it. Total cost in parts, maybe $500 doing the work himself. The truck just works. Average annual repair cost for a Silverado, according to RepairPal, is $660. And the probability of a major repair is 18%, which is average for a full-size truck. But when you consider you are paying $5,000 to $9,000 for the truck itself, the cost per mile of ownership is absurdly low. Inspection checklist. First, and this is the big one, check the brake lines. The 1999 to 2007 Silverados are notorious for corroded brake lines, especially in northern states that salt the roads. There was even a class action lawsuit over it. Get under the truck and inspect every brake line. If you see rust or swelling on the lines, budget $400 to $800 to have them all replaced. Do not skip this. Second, check for oil consumption. Pull the dipstick, check the level, and look at the tailpipe for blue smoke on startup. Some 5.3 Vortex can develop oil consumption past 150,000 miles from worn valve seals. A quart every 2,000 miles is livable. A quart every 500 miles means internal work is coming. Third, check the rocker panels and cab corners for rust. These trucks rot from the inside out in those areas. It is cosmetic, but it tells you about the truck's history and how well it was cared for. Fourth, if it is a four-wheel drive model, engage the transfer case and make sure it shifts smoothly into 4 high and 4 low. The actuator on the front axle can fail, which is about a $250 fix. Who should buy this truck? If you need a full-size V8 powered work truck with real towing capability up to 10,000 pounds depending on the configuration, and you want to spend under $10,000, this is the move. Parts are the cheapest in the industry. Every auto parts store in the country has a wall of Silverado parts. Every mechanic knows these trucks inside and out. You will never be stranded wondering who can work on it. If you need a full-size truck and value running costs over creature comforts, there is no better deal on the used market. Top 4, the 2009 to 2014 Honda Ridgeline. Coming in at number 2 is the 2009 to 2014 Honda Ridgeline. Now, before you click away, hear me out. I know what you are thinking. The Ridgeline is not a real truck. It is a unibody. It has all-wheel drive instead of four-wheel drive. It cannot tow as much as a Silverado, and you are right about all of that. But here is what else is true. The first-generation Honda Ridgeline, specifically from 2009 to 2014, might be the most reliable pickup truck ever built for what 90% of truck owners actually do with their trucks. And right now you can pick one up for between $8,000 and $10,000. Let me tell you about the customer who changed my mind on these. About 4 years ago, a guy in his late 30s came in with a 2011 Ridgeline that had 187,000 miles. He wanted a full inspection because his wife was pressuring him to buy something newer. I put it on the lift and went through everything. Suspension, drivetrain, brakes, pulled codes, inspected the undercarriage. You know what I found? It needed rear brake pads and a serpentine belt. That is it at 187,000 miles. I told him his truck was going to outlast his marriage if he was not careful. He kept the truck. The engine in the Ridgeline is Honda's J35 series, a 3.5 LV6 making 250 horsepower. This is the same engine family Honda uses in the Pilot, the Odyssey, and the Accord V6. It has been in production in various forms since 1998, and it is one of the most proven V6 engines on the planet. It is naturally aspirated, uses a timing belt that needs replacement every 105,000 miles, costing $600 to $800 for the job, and is paired with a 5-speed automatic transmission. Consumer Reports gave the 2011 through 2014 Ridgeline a perfect 5 out of 5 reliability score. That is not common for any vehicle, let alone a pickup truck. The Ridgeline topped iSeeCars.com list of longest-lasting light-duty pickup trucks. Owner satisfaction scores from Consumer Reports were a consistent 4 out of 5 across every first-generation model year. Now here is why they are cheap. The truck crowd does not take the Ridgeline seriously because it does not look like a traditional truck. It has a unibody frame, standard all-wheel drive, an in-bed trunk that opens from the top, and a dual-action tailgate. None of that is traditional. All of it is actually brilliant for how most people use a pickup. Hauling mulch, running to the hardware store, light towing up to 5,000 pounds in daily commuting. Inspection checklist. First and most important, check for rust on the frame rails and bed mounting points. First-generation Ridgelines, especially in northern states, are susceptible to frame corrosion. Honda issued a recall for 2006 to 2014 models for corroded fuel tank mounting points. Make sure the recall has been completed and inspect the undercarriage thoroughly. Second, check the timing belt service history. If the truck is over 105,000 miles and there is no record of a timing belt change, negotiate that cost off the price because it needs to be done. Third, check the VTM4 rear differential. Honda recommends fluid changes every 15,000 miles if towing or 30,000 miles for normal driving. If this was neglected, the rear differential can develop issues. Pull the drain plug and check the fluid condition. Fourth, skip the 2006 to 2008 models. Those early years had some reported cylinder issues and more transmission complaints. The 2009 refresh fixed almost everything. And from 2009 to 2014, the Ridgeline is rock solid. Who should buy this? If you use your truck as a daily driver that occasionally hauls stuff, this is the smartest purchase on this list. You get Honda reliability, a ride that is smoother than any body-on-frame truck, standard all-wheel drive, a hidden in-bed trunk that locks, and a truck that your mechanic will barely ever see. Who should skip it? If you tow heavy loads regularly, if you go off-road beyond a gravel trail, or if you cannot handle your buddies giving you grief for driving a Honda pickup, look at the other 4 trucks on this list. Top 5, the 2000 to 2006 Toyota Tundra. Finally, at number 1, we have the 2000 to 2006 Toyota Tundra. This is the truck I recommend more than any other pickup under $10,000. This is my best pick. Almost everyone pushes back at first. They say a first-generation Tundra? Those are old. They are small for a full size. Why would I buy that over a Silverado? Then they drive one. Then they check the maintenance costs. Then they buy one every single time. 2 years ago, a woman came into my shop. She was a property manager, drove 30,000 miles a year, and needed something that could haul supplies, pull a small trailer, and not leave her stranded between properties. She had been looking at newer mid-sized trucks in the $15,000 to $20,000 range, but payments and insurance were going to stretch her thin. I asked if she had ever considered a first-generation Tundra. She had not even heard of it. I pulled up a 2005 Tundra SR5 double cab with the 4.7 LV8 two-wheel drive, 138,000 miles for $8,200. Clean Carfax, one owner. Service records at the dealer since new. She bought it the next day. That was 2 years and 58,000 miles ago. She just hit 196,000 miles. Total repairs in that time, a set of spark plugs, and an oxygen sensor under $300. Her exact words last month: "This is the best vehicle I have ever owned." Here is why I am obsessed with the first-generation Tundra. The 4.7-liter 2UZ-FE V8 in these trucks is a member of Toyota's UZ engine family, the same family that powered the Land Cruiser and the Lexus LX 470. This is not a truck engine designed to be disposable. This engine was designed for Toyota's flagship off-road vehicle and its luxury division. It was over-engineered from day one. It is an iron block, aluminum head, dual overhead cam, 32-valve V8, making 245 to 282 horsepower depending on the year. It uses a timing belt which needs to be changed every 90,000 miles. That is about a $700 to $900 job, and it is the single biggest maintenance item on the truck. Once that is done, the engine is good for another 90,000. These engines routinely last 300,000 miles and beyond. I have personally seen two north of 350,000 miles, still running on original internals. The transmission is a 5-speed automatic that Toyota developed in-house, and it is virtually indestructible with regular fluid changes. In over 20 years of wrenching, I have never replaced a transmission in a first-generation Tundra. Not once. Current market prices are where this gets exciting. A 2003 to 2006 Tundra with the V8 and under 150,000 miles will run you $7,000 to $10,000. Compare that to a same-year Tacoma with similar miles, which somehow still commands $12,000 to $18,000. The Tundra gives you a full-size truck with a V8, more interior room, and more towing capacity for thousands less. The only reason the first-generation Tundra is cheap is that most buyers skip straight to the second-generation, 2007 and up models, which are bigger, more powerful, and more expensive. They forget the first generation exists. Their loss, your gain, this is real value. Repair costs, let me break them down from my shop. Timing belt with water pump, $850. Brake pads, all 4 wheels, $280. Spark plugs, $120. Ball joints, if they ever needed, $450. These are real numbers. Oxygen sensors, $150 each. That is the entire list of things that ever go wrong on these trucks. The 4.7 does not have head gasket issues. It does not have oil consumption issues. It does not have turbo failures because there is no turbo to fail. These trucks are simply reliable. Inspection checklist. First, check the timing belt service history. If the truck is over 90,000 miles and there is no record of a timing belt change, do it immediately or factor that cost into your offer. This is the single most important maintenance item on this truck. Second, check the lower ball joints. First-generation Tundras are known for lower ball joint wear, especially on 4-wheel drive models. Jack up the front end and grab the tire at 12 1 and 6 ganta. Any play means the ball joints need replacing, about $450 for both sides. Third, check the frame for rust, especially around the rear leaf spring mounts. Some first-gen Tundras in salt states can develop frame rust. Toyota did not have the same widespread frame recall on the first gen as they did on the Tacoma, so this is on you to inspect. Fourth, check the exhaust manifold bolts. The 4.7L V8 is known for broken exhaust manifold bolts, which can cause a ticking sound. It is not catastrophic, but it is a $300 to $500 fix if you want it quiet. Listen for a ticking sound that gets louder with RPM. Who should buy this truck? Everyone. Seriously, if you need a pickup truck for under $10,000, the first-gen Toyota Tundra is the answer. For highway commuters, it will cruise at 75 km/h all day without breaking a sweat. Weekend warriors, it will tow up to 70 to 100 pounds depending on configuration. Tradespeople, the bed is a true full-size bed, and the truck is built to work. It is for anyone who wants Toyota Land Cruiser level engineering in a pickup truck at a fraction of the cost. Who should avoid it? If you need maximum towing capacity and payload numbers, newer full-size trucks are objectively better. If you want modern tech, a backup camera, and Apple CarPlay, this is not your truck. And if you live in the deep Rust Belt and cannot find one with a clean frame, look at the Silverado from number 3 on this list instead. Here is my final take on the first-gen Tundra. This is the single best pickup truck you can buy for under $10,000. Full stop. Toyota reliability. A V8 that was built for the Land Cruiser. A transmission that does not break. Priced like people forgot it exists because they did. If I had to buy one truck right now to drive for the next 10 years with the lowest possible total cost of ownership, I would buy a first-gen Tundra and sleep like a baby. Summary and final thoughts. So there it is. 5 pickup trucks that the market forgot but mechanics did not. The Ford Ranger with its dead simple drivetrain and rock-bottom prices. The Nissan Frontier that Nissan forgot to update and accidentally made indestructible. The Chevy Silverado with the legendary 5.3 Vortec and no AFM headaches. The Honda Ridgeline that truck guys laugh at and mechanics respect. And the first-generation Toyota Tundra, the best-kept secret in the entire used truck market. You now know 5 trucks you can buy for under $10,000 that will outlast trucks costing 2 and 3 times as much. Next time you are scrolling through listings and your buddy tells you that you need to spend $25,000 to get a reliable truck, you will know better. Now, if you want to know which trucks have actually earned legendary status in the shop, the ones that absolutely refuse to die, I did a whole video on that. That is over 20 years of watching trucks come and go. Drive safe, take care of your truck, and it will take care of you. Take it or leave it. I will see you in the next one. If these legendary trucks change the way you look at the used market, make sure to subscribe and like the video. We are uncovering the automotive history and secrets that dealerships have tried to bury. Invest in your future and drive something that lasts. The next hidden treasure will be revealed soon.